Adding effects to your build is hard, and it's especially hard because you don't know what type of effects you want. So, in this video, we're going to be going over the 3 most important things that you should go over when adding effects into the builds that you make in Minecraft. Let's start off with the first thing. The first thing is purpose. Why is there the effects here? Why is that area down there glowing? Why is there these sort of rings of glass? Why are there sparks flying everywhere? Well, the answer is purpose. If you have a laser that's able to pierce through the ground, it has to be hot enough to melt it. So maybe that shouldn't be blue, maybe it should be sort of red, but for now, just keep it at a blue color so that way it looks sort of off, like the ground, which is sort of a blue tint, looks like it's melting and revealing this area. I feel like I should switch that. As well as the fact that some areas that are still cooling down, they should have pockets of red and orange that show that, oh, they're not insanely hot, but they're still really hot and are cooling down. Now that we got the first thing out of the way, which is the purpose behind it, we have to figure out the direction. So if we just have things scattered everywhere, then it becomes a bunch of random noise, and the noise isn't good. What the noise does is it creates chaos that doesn't actually look good. While it can look good in very few cases, it's easier to just figure out the direction. Let's take the smoke rings up here, for example. This area right here is the point of highest energy. This over here is the laser, so there should be heated parts around it, but those we don't need to worry about now. But then we have these bits, which are the smoke bits. Now, I would assume that since this area is sort of the hottest point of all metal, that it'd be producing smoke and it'd have to be cooled in some sort of way. So this is the sort of evaporated liquid that's been cooling the entire device. But because of that, it sort of floats away in bands as it puffs away. And then there might be an occasional bit right here that's just the last little bits, but those are really hard to add in, so if you want to skip them, then that's perfectly okay. The third thing is scale. What is the sort of scale that you want? For example, here we have little bits of scale with the size of how many candles there are, where there's 1 candle down here, and there's 4 candles the closer to you get to the actual laser beam. Similarly, there's also the scale of how many are lit in certain areas, where these little bits over here are maybe fizzling out sparks. The areas right here are constantly burning sparks. But then there's also parts like too much candles. There might be a lot of sparks over in this area that are cooler than all the sparks that are over in this area. There might be more sparks in the air in this area than there are in this area. And so you have to figure out how much you want in every part. Because remember, this is currently a still frame and moment of something that's happening, so you have to figure out how much in each area do you want to keep the build balanced, because, well, here, I'll just go back to right here. Imagine that the laser is cutting the build in half. On one half, you got some stuff, and on the other half, you got some other stuff. This side of the laser, you have all the machinery that's causing the laser to work. But on this side, there's really nothing, so you have to add in more stuff, like sparks and things flying everywhere in order to balance out this side. Well, sure, it doesn't look as good when coming down from this. Oh, that was a bad example. This apparently looks really good going from a straight down angle. Well, it might not look as good from other angles that just don't show the scale. For example, right here, there isn't really that much scale because of sparks, because there's just so much in the giant arm that's holding a laser. And so you should try and balance your builds. That's really what scale is. It's the amount of balance that you have and the purpose of the size of every single thing. Anyway, these are 3 things that you can add to your Minecraft builds to add more chaotic texture and effects, so that way your builds can look just a little bit better and maybe, just maybe, be worthy of being complete. This one isn't complete. I'm going to continue to work on it forever because that's how I do it. But if you watch the end of this video, then I feel like you might like some other videos that I've made. So be sure to like and subscribe. And hey, check out that video up in the corner right there. I'm trying to point to it with my head, but my camera's moving. Goodbye!